sir.
Hope you all slept well.
Yes, sir. Thank God.
Okay, it's all right. It's okay. Yeah, so we're having our class today, 10 to 12, which we have actually started. Some have already joined. So far, Nongo is here, right? Nongo, you are there, right? Joseph is here.
Yes, sir. I'm here, sir.
Yes, then Grace.
Yes, sir.
And then Ogbu Samson. Yeah,
Sir,
I
Grace
hope that
is
more
here.
will join the class as we proceed.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So welcome to the class today.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so just for recap purposes, can one just tell us briefly, in summary, what we discussed in our last class yesterday? Just for recap purposes, can any of you actually go back to maybe what we discussed yesterday, so that we just have a recap of what we actually discussed that yesterday?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
All right. We talk about gender mainstreaming.
Okay.
And yes, to look at why gender mainstream.
Why gender what? Yeah, no, are you still there? Are you still there?
Okay, sir. Let me just say something maybe before he comes.
Oh, okay, please, Grace. Go ahead.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome.
We looked at gender, on how gender.
Just, sorry, Grace, just gender.
No, I just want to talk about the mainstreaming that we discussed yesterday.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yes, sir. So on how policies, program that is being carried is meant to like include this particular gender, male and female, their roles and all that, the implication and the impact. So we actually looked at how projects, like I'm actually summarizing it, like how when project is being carried, one is not sidelined, and having policies that ensure that there is a balance in that regard. So that's some things I have to say, sir. Thank you so much.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Yeah, anybody with any other view on what we discussed yesterday? A form of a recap? Okay, So for yesterday, actually, we discussed about gender mainstreaming, how we now looked at how both men, women could actually be carried along in any project or policy formulation and all of that. We went ahead to look at the principles guiding gender mainstreaming. We looked at the different principles, where we also talked about budgeting, gender budgeting, accountability, and all of that. We went ahead to look at the different frameworks in gender mainstreaming, and then the challenges encountered in gender mainstreaming, right? Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. So today we're actually going to look at gender-based violence. Gender-based violence. So what do you understand by gender-based violence? Any attempt?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Grace.
Okay, sir.
Please go ahead.
Okay, in my own understanding, gender-based violence is like an action that is taken against a particular gender that leaves the person in a vulnerable state.
Oh, okay. So if the person is actually not in a vulnerable state and such an action has been taken against the person, does that still amount to gender-based violence? Sorry.
Sir, I didn't get the
Is a
question. Sir, I didn't
Did
get
you
the
get the
question.
question?
No, sir.
Okay. You said any action that is taken against someone who is vulnerable, and then when such action affects the person, that amounts to gender-based violence. And then my question is that if the person is actually not in a vulnerable state and such an action has been carried out against the person, does that still amount to gender-based violence?
Yes, sir, in a way, because the person right was actually violated.
Okay, yes. You know, I'm trying to point out something. You brought in the issue of vulnerability there. Yes, it is not in all cases that the person actually might be vulnerable. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it is not in all cases. The person at times may not actually, but then because the other person has some power to exercise, he or she can actually go ahead to excessively exercise such powers on the person. And so at that point, the person can actually his own rights or her own rights can actually be violated also. So it is not in all cases that the person may actually be in a vulnerable state. But then the case of gender-based violence can still set in even at that stage. So, at the end of this class, we're expecting that you should be able to understand the concept of gender-based violence, and as well as the gender issues, specifically as it affects us in Nigeria, understand the complex issues of gender-based violence in Nigeria, understand the different forms that violence can be meted on persons through cultural norms and all of that, then understand the ongoing efforts to actually see how this can actually be put under check. The gender-based violence can actually be put under check. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so by gender-based violence, we actually mean when an individual rights are actually being or when harmful. Hello? Are you
Yes, sir.
there?
Yes, we are with you.
Sir, we are with you, sir.
Okay. Yeah, so by gender-based violence, we mean when any act that harms a person based on their gender, we refer to that as gender-based violence. Any act at all that harms a person based on their gender. And this goes back to the point I was actually trying to make. The person may be in a vulnerable state, or he may not be in a vulnerable state, right?
Yes, sir.
Are you with me?
We are with you, sir.
Okay. So the person may actually be in a vulnerable state or not, but then his or her own right may be violated. And an act of gender-based violence could set in at that point. It is actually an abuse of power. It's a case of gender-based violence is actually an abuse of power. And it can actually take different forms. It could be physical, it could be sexual, emotional, financial, etc. And it can actually happen anywhere. It could be in the public sector, it could be in the private sector. Do you understand? Did you get that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is there any question so far?
Not yet, sir.
Okay. So what are actually the causes and the drivers of gender-based violence? What, in your own views, what do you think could actually be the causes of gender-based violence?
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone.
Yeah, good morning.
Okay, sir, from my own end, I will say the quest to ending inequality can bring about gender-based violence, sir.
Okay. No, my question was the causes. What could be the likely causes of gender-based violence. Okay, what are the things that could actually trigger gender-based violence?
Sir, culture norms.
Okay.
To my own understanding, because there are some culture that tend to favor a particular maybe sex, for instance, where maybe if a certain harm is done to a woman, maybe a married woman, she's not meant to speak out, like keeping it within herself. So she might be going through those things. Then because of the culture that doesn't that exalt maybe the man like more like one that is in authority, she might just be silent, and such thing can be going on in that particular culture. So that's my thoughts, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much, Grace.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, any other person with any view on what could be the possible causes or the drivers of gender-based violence, the kind of things that could actually trigger gender-based violence? Any other view?
Sir, let me just add up something.
Okay,
Like
please.
recently, I've been following a particular thing that was happening in the nation. This has to do with what we saw in the House of Assembly. And
Sorry,
a certain
which House of
gender,
Assembly?
national.
Okay, National Assembly. Okay. All right.
Sir. So a certain gender, a certain sex, and spoke out about some certain things that was done to her. But we saw the way it was going. She was vocal about her rights. And then yet there is another Senator Ndume, that even he goes to the channel, airs his view and all that. And, he does it boldly. He challenged the institution and nothing was done. Certain institution, laws that they have in the National Assembly, they didn't invoke it, in his regard, but they did that to Senator Natasha. So I think.
Okay. Sorry, Grace, before you proceed, as much as possible, there should not be maybe name calling to some extent, especially maybe some cases that could be in court and all of that. We don't have to go into name calling also, but we can actually make reference to maybe such a scenario as regards our own lectures also. Please go
Okay,
ahead.
thank you so much, sir, for that correction. Noted, sir. So so some of those things we see it in the society. So especially in Africa, women are meant to bottle in, like when they are faced with some of those threats. And we have seen, especially in this year, I've seen a lot of deaths of women. There was one, I think, in a particular state, in the eastern state, where the woman was set ablaze. We had several that has happened in the country that has led to that, because they are meant to bottle in because of the culture. But in the Western world, is not really like that. So in this part of the world, I think our culture, our norms, encourage some of those things. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing with us your own views on what could possibly be the causes of and then drivers of gender-based violence with some practical scenarios, examples also. Yeah, any other person on what could be the possible causes of or drivers of gender-based violence?
Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, sir.
Samson, right?
Yes, sir. Sir,
Yes.
I think just dogmas can as well cause social-based violence, Because if
What
you
is
see
that?
some churches, religious
Sorry,
dogmas,
which dogmas?
some religious
Okay,
dogmas.
religious.
Some churches,
Okay, yes,
yes,
okay.
sir.
All right.
Some churches, if you see women are not allowed to preach, they can only contribute on the ground. Like, sorry to use Catholic as an example. If you're not supposed to preach in the church as a Catholic or a Reverend sister, but women will be asked to do so. And I think that is one of the examples. And again, recently something happened. Two people, let me not use this example anyway. That's one of my
No, but if you can,
example.
no, you can go ahead without really maybe mentioning names or so. Like, as you just started, maybe 2 persons, it's okay. You can go ahead to actually give us your own example. You wish to go ahead to give the example, Samson? Okay. All right. So we're actually looking at the different causes of gender-based violence. Yes.
Hello.
Sorry, any?
Sir.
Yes.
Yeah, good morning. It's Joseph. Sorry, my network threw me out later. Yes. I think one of the possible cause of this gender-based violence is poverty and other economic challenges could be one of the cause of gender-based violence. You look at a situation where maybe girls in a society age 15 to 18, sometimes they are forced into marriages and their families in need of funds, when they need funds, will turn this in order to reduce their bills and earn financial support from their son's in-law. I think this can bring gender-based violence.
Okay. All right. So thank you so much for all those views on what could be the possible causes of gender-based violence. So as you rightly pointed out, norms or the cultural attributes of a certain group of people could actually trigger or promote gender-based violence. The family beliefs, the characteristics of those maybe of the area, the cultural norms, the personal beliefs, individual characteristics could actually trigger gender-based violence. So when looking at the causes of gender-based violence, we can look at it at the level of an individual, right? We can look at it at the level of an individual. Then we can look at it at the level of maybe relationship. In terms of, in the context of having a relationship, and then we can look at it, the causes of gender-based violence at the level of the community. We can also look at the causes of gender-based violence at the level of the what? The society. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so at the level of the individual, the personal characteristics of such an individual could actually go a long way in promoting gender-based violence. The person's beliefs, right? What are the things the person actually believes in? Possibly the person's maybe value system. So here we are looking at the individual. So what we are saying is that the individual in context could actually, his actions or her actions could actually promote gender-based violence. The kind of things he actually believes. What is actually the value system of such a person? So all of that will actually promote gender-based violence. Then at the level of relationship, let's say at the level of the family, you know, in the family, persons relate there as family members. But then within the family, it is very possible in that relationship as members of that family, of a particular family, for gender-based violent cases to actually occur. Then you look at the kind of beliefs such a family has. What are the beliefs? What is the value? What are the value systems in that particular family? All of that will actually trigger gender-based violence. Then when you're looking at the level of the community, here you tend to look at the community norms. What are the norms in such a community? What are the different maybe cultural beliefs there in such a community? What are the beliefs? What are the different beliefs? What are the practices? And then even the kind of leadership, the kind of leadership in that community. Is it a community that actually promotes gender-based violence through its norms, beliefs, or the practices, and then the kind of leadership? The kind of maybe leaders they have there, is it the kind of leaders that will actually impose things and then use their own powers excessively in order to actually bring about gender-based violence? What is the value system like? What are the different practices? What is the belief system in such a community? All of this could actually trigger gender-based violence. Then we have the national laws, and then that is for the general society. The national laws, the policies, do they actually, are the laws in place Hello, are you with me?
Yes.
We didn't hear you, but we can hear you now.
Okay, you weren't hearing me.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, so what I was saying is that there is every need to look at even the laws of the land, how they actually promote the right and then the dignity of persons, right? And then the various policies. Is it policies that actually promote the rights of individuals? All the policies in place, are they the ones that could actually maybe trigger gender-based violence or put it under check? There are actually issues that we actually need to look into. So those are actually the causes of gender-based violence. And so in summary, we're saying that gender-based violence, the causes could be looked at the level of an individual, in a relationship. So the relationship here maybe could be maybe even two persons, or maybe at the level of the family. But in any relationship at all, how does that relationship maybe engenders gender, or maybe promotes gender equality, or in the other way around, promotes gender-based violence? There are actually issues that we really need to look into. And then the causes of gender-based violence can also be looked at at the level of the community, and then the general society. Is that clear? Any question? Is there any question?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay, so looking Did you get that?
Sir, we didn't hear you again. No.
Okay. I was asking you, are there ways that gender-based violence could actually be put under check? Did you get me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So are there ways that gender-based violence could actually be put under check?
Sir, to me,
Yes, sir.
they are policies that have been made, but implementing it to the end is usually the challenge that we have. So if you can have like effective implementation in policies that are already in place, if it can be monitored to implementing it like effectively, it will go a long way, sir.
Okay, it's all right. So we said that gender-based violence can actually occur in different forms. So what are these forms in which gender-based violence can actually occur? Gender-based violence could occur taking sexual dimension, physical dimension, psychological, and then social, what, economic. Did you get that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so in what ways can gender-based violence occur in the sexual context? In what ways can gender-based violence occur under sexual context?
Hello,
Are
sir.
you with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes.
I want to make an attempt in the
Okay,
cases
please
where
do.
we have can I use the word use on a particular gender, like underage being sexually abused? It can happen to any gender, whether female, that are like in the cases of rape.
Okay. Okay, so if it is a case of, in this case, not the somebody, an adult, to a minor, no. If it is both of them are adults, is it actually possible to experience a case of gender-based violence in the sexual context?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because I'm asking because you made mention of maybe a minor being sexually abused. So if it is a case of maybe both of them being adults, is it still possible to have a case of gender-based violence in the context of in the sexual context?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, so the fact is that it is not just when a minor rights are being violated sexually that amounts to gender-based violence. Even as adults, provided the other party does not give his or her own consent, it amounts to gender-based violence. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
And you also need to know that it is not just women that can be abused sexually.
Yes.
Do you agree with me on that?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
You know, the assumption most times is that it is just the women or the ladies that can be abused sexually. But it is actually not true. It is not so. Men can be abused. How do you describe a situation where maybe the chief executive of an office is a lady, and now this guy now goes to such an office for a job, for him to be offered a job in such an organization, And then the chief executive officer, who is a lady in this case, now decides to take advantage of this person, of this man, sexually. That is still a case of a gender-based violence. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so we need to know that it is not just women also that can be abused sexually. Men can also be abused sexually. So the next form of gender-based violence is that of physical. Yes, gender-based violence could occur in a very physical form. For instance, in domestic violence at home or between partners, couples, or in the family among children and the parents, cases of domestic violence could occur, or even children among themselves. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, so gender-based violence can actually occur in physical form too. Then we have the psychological form. Gender-based violence could occur psychologically in the psychological context of it. And what do you understand by gender-based violence emanating from a psychological point of view? What do you understand by that? How can gender-based violence actually occur in the psychological context of it? Any idea?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Psychological gender-based violence, just like the physical gender-based violence, it is actually carried out physical, but message is sent to the emotion, which is the psyche of the victim or the affected person. Like when a child or a man, we would refer to trafficking here, when a child is picked without his consent in the form of adoption or other form that appears secretly without the consent of that person, and which the child is kept, or the person, even those people who do kidnapping activity, when they pick you and take you to unknown place, psychologically you're tortured because you're fed from going about your normal life. So your deep thought is, will you survive this? Will you move out of this place alive or be dead? Psychologically, you continue to work without stoppage. And then, related to slavery, it is tempting. Maybe you might have taken like too old to adopt children. Conditions are meant for you to adopt these children. You're not taking them for slavery, but you're taking them to take care of them in order not to affect their society. Already they are orphans. Some are orphans in an orphanage home. That alone has a stigma on them. Then when you take them and give them, expose them to labor that is beyond normal human activity, such thing again send psychological torture to them. So psychologically, they are not normal, and they are no longer normal human beings because they are being exposed to what only abnormal human beings can do. So they are not actually living freely. So that is what I understand, or I think could be referred to as psychological torture.
Okay, yes. So the psychological form of gender-based violence could actually manifest itself in trafficking cases and then cases of slavery. Do you understand? Where
Yes,
maybe
sir.
some persons, yeah, where some persons have been trafficked, especially the ladies, especially ladies. We have heard of cases where some persons have actually lured some little girls to actually maybe come over, promising them jobs, very good paying jobs and all of that in cities, even across beyond the shores of this country for jobs. And then when these little girls get to that place, the boss, which could be a man or a lady, now we have to recoup maybe all the investment, the monies, the resources that were actually put together to bring over such a girl to that place. And so the lady now be subjected to maybe sexual exploitation and all of that. It's a case of trafficking that could actually have a very psychological effect on such a lady. So in that case, is a form of what? Gender-based violence in psychological aspect of it. And then in case of slavery, when one is actually taken into slavery also, of course, as a slave, you lose most of your rights. I think you know that. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So at that point, that mental torture of you losing your rights, that, oh, you are not yourself, you can't just do what you want to do, and all of that, that forms a psychological effect on you, and is actually a form of gender-based violence. So the next form of gender-based violence is that of is socioeconomic. Socioeconomic. So how can socioeconomic actually be an aspect of gender-based violence? Any idea? Or how can gender-based violence manifest itself in socioeconomic conditions or context?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
You hear me, sir?
I can hear you.
Sorry, there's something I wanted to say concerning the psychological gender-based violence that I was expecting someone to say, but no one said it. Okay. I just want to say something that happened to me. So it can be emotional gender-based violence. Someone can easily manipulate your mindset. Someone can blackmail you. You can be blackmailed. You can be shamed. They can use some certain strategy to control your behavior. That is one of the, how would I put it? It's one of the gender-based violence we're talking about, when they begin to shame you, begin to use all manner of your behavior or your past life to weigh you down. It affects someone psychologically. I think, to me, it's one of the reasons people experience gender-based violence psychologically. You are being blackmailed. They begin to use your lifestyle to weigh you down. You know, I don't know if you're getting what I'm saying, sir.
Yes,
It's happened.
yes.
So, something that I've experienced.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you very much for sharing with us your view. You see, that can actually also manifest, the psychological can actually also manifest in relationships, right? Let's say a lady and then the man that have found themselves in a relationship. Just because the man has actually gotten to know of maybe the lady's history, or maybe some shortcomings or so, now decides to use that against the lady, right? Also, the man in this case may be deceiving the user, just using some things to actually maybe deceive the lady in question that are in a relationship. Do you understand? That can actually amounts to psychological form of a gender-based violence, because here, you know, emotions are involved, right? Emotions are actually involved. And by the time you actually toy with this individual's emotions, psychologically, the person actually will be abused. And in that case, in that form, gender-based violence can actually set in. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we were actually looking at the forms, the different forms of gender-based violence. So, hello?
Hi, sir.
Hi. So we're actually talking about socioeconomic. A situation where a lady, for instance, yes, a situation where a lady, for instance, has been deprived, or maybe having access to maybe or engaging in some economic ventures, economic activities, gender-based violence could set in. There are cases where some persons will feel that my wife or spouse should not maybe engage in maybe formal work, but should just be there to run the house. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
And in doing that, you might be depriving the lady of her economic maybe muscle or powers. Economically, you are trying to restrict her. In some cultures, it could even be maybe a social issue that maybe that particular society does not maybe support women going into those kind of ventures. For instance, a lady should not be involved in political activities, maybe contesting elections and all of that. It's a case of gender-based violence. Why should the lady not actually be allowed to participate? Or why will women not be allowed to participate in politics? You understand? So it's actually a case of a gender-based violence. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so we are talking about the psychological violence, which could be non-physical, that can be meted meted upon an individual. So when we're discussing about psychological form of gender-based violence, we talked about emotional abuse, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we talked about emotional abuse. Then there are cases of gaslighting, intimidation, non-verbal what? Bullying. All these come under the psychological kind of gender-based violence. You know, you may try to intimidate someone. It could be verbal or non-verbal. Do you know what I can do to you? Do you know who am I and all of that? Do you understand? These are forms of intimidation. You are trying to actually intimidate this person. And through that, you want to actually take advantage of the person and then use excessive powers over such a person. And that will actually lead to what? Gender-based violence. It could actually be verbal or even non-verbal. You know, we have verbal bullying and then non-verbal. Do you understand? Are you with me? Are you following?
Yes.
Okay, so what is actually the difference between the two? Verbal bullying and then non-verbal bullying. Yes.
Verbal involves, verbal entails or involves the use of utterances, while non-verbal could be through action, though may not be physical action. I may send you a message or a chat that involves, that harasses your emotion, or pictorial messages that harasses your emotion. I am not verbally talking to you. So that is the difference between verbal and non-verbal.
Okay. There are cases where someone, you know, through dressing, one can just try to intimidate someone. Do you believe that?
Yes, sir.
You know, I think our ladies in the house might actually understand this better.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, our ladies could actually understand this better. You find some ladies in an environment, and then the other one is actually trying to outdress others. She may not actually say anything to any of them, but in her own view, she's actually trying to actually outdress others so that those other ladies should have some level of respect on her and all of that. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
So at that point, it's not as if the lady is actually opening her mouth to tell them, do you see how I dress? Do you know how much my dress costs and all of that? No, the person may not even, the lady may not even open her mouth to say all of that. But then, silently, she's just trying to what? Prove to these other ladies around that I can dress better than you. It may not just be only ladies also. In fact, maybe men and women in a place. They can actually go into such competition or in an office. In an office. The other person will now try to see that I am much better than you in this way. Also, I can dress better. I can do certain things better. I have a better car and all of that. All of this would actually amount to gender-based violence. By the time you're actually using all of this, either to intimidate or bully the other person or so, it leads to what? Gender-based violence. So what about the physical violence? Here we have things like maybe beating, kicking, and punching. The use of objects or weapons in either killing or inflicting physical pain or harm. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand? So,
yes, sir.
I think you can see how these two persons are actually punching themselves, kicking, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, so, you know, it can be maybe physical beating. And this can occur in the family, in the office, in the community, in the general society, where the other person, because he has he feels that he has much physical power, he now tries to exercise such powers on the other person by physically beating him. Well, you know, we have heard of cases where somebody will say, I can physically beat you. And then at times they even go into such. It's a case of gender-based violence, especially when it pertains maybe the woman and the man. The man may be using his own powers, physical strength as a man, now to actually carry out the beating on the woman. Is gender-based violence. It can be through kicking. When you kick, maybe husband and the woman and the wife, and then maybe punching, and then the use of objects and weapons like guns, You know, at times holding the gun alone, one, you are intimidating the person, and then emotionally, it affects the other party. Do you understand? So the use of objects such as maybe guns and all of that would actually go a long way in promoting a physical form of gender-based violence. One can use, decide to use things like a knife on the other person, which could lead to even killing the person or so. So it's actually, that could actually promote a physical violence, which in turn could lead to gender-based violence. And then for someone who is maybe in a disadvantaged position, for instance, the person is on maybe clutches, can't actually walk without the aid of clutches or so. The person may actually not be as fast as he should be, like any other person. And then maybe trying to, let's say, maybe board a bus or taxi, and maybe since there are so many passengers, commuters or so, you now, the other persons now decide to now maybe disregard the physical condition of the person and then go ahead to maybe board the bus to the point that, okay, there is even no space for this other person because of the disability the person has. It's a form of violence on such a person. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Is there any question so far? Do you have a question?
No, sir.
Okay. So let's look at the socioeconomic violence. Socioeconomic violence. How can socioeconomic violence promote gender-based violence? You know, taking away of someone's money or earnings or deny one's access to property can actually lead to or are clear cases of gender-based violence. A situation where as couples, you have decided that if the other couple now collects his or her salary, the person should submit to the other person. Take, for instance, maybe the wife. You subject the wife to a condition that at the end of every month, once you collect your salary, you have to submit to me, the husband. Then you take the money away from the woman. It's a socioeconomic kind of violence, which is actually a clear case of what? Gender-based violence under the socioeconomic context. Because economically, you are trying to deprive the other person of her right, of his or her own right. In this case, you are depriving the woman of her own rights. And then maybe in the same family, because maybe the wife is working and earning some money, and then the man is not actually earning some money, is not actually working or doing something to actually earn something from there. Now, the wife now decides to actually take undue advantage of the man. It's a form of gender-based violence. In that case, the man can be abused. The man can actually be abused. And such an abuse is economic in nature. So as much as possible, these issues needs to be looked into. The socioeconomic kind of violence, which could lead to gender-based violence, as much as possible, should be what? Avoided and then curtailed as much as possible. And then another form that socioeconomic violence could occur is denied access to property. To an individual. It was yesterday we were discussing, and I told you that in most cultures, it is difficult for ladies to own land. It is for a lady to point at any piece of land to show you that, oh, this is my land, maybe my name and all of that. Most cultures or societies feel that women don't have the right to own land. But when you are considering gender equality and all of that, does that actually promote gender equality? Does it?
No, sir.
Yeah, so by the time you try to actually deprive the lady of this, some of these assets, maybe it could be the land, maybe the house, and all of that, is a form of gender-based violence. We also discussed even yesterday that there are some cultures that it is believed the gay child doesn't have the right to inheritance. The gay child doesn't have the right to inheritance. And so it doesn't even matter, even when the boys, even when you say that the boys could not really manage some of these things also, because of cultural beliefs also, such things are being entrusted to the boys. Because the gay child does not have the right to actually own a property or to inheritance. Even when clearly you have seen that the lady is in a better position to even manage those assets, she's being deprived just because she's a lady. It's actually a form of gender-based violence. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so another form is demeaning the value of work. Demeaning the value of work. When you now subject wants to do some jobs that ordinarily they should not do, just for economic exploitations, just for economic reasons, it's a clear case of gender-based violence. Then, when you decide to go ahead to even employ someone, and then you decide not to even pay the person, in this case, maybe a lady, as a chief executive officer in an organization, you have employed a lady to working for you. And because you have actually attached some conditions to it, and then the lady has not been able to meet such conditions, you have maybe decided to deprive the lady of her income, monthly income that should be due to her, form of salary or so. It's a case of gender-based violence meted on such a lady. And then cases of forced stay-at-home status, where you now feel that, no, as my wife, you don't have to work. I want you to be 100% a housewife, to be taking care of the house. It's a case of gender-based violence. Well, I don't know at this point, are there some cultures that maybe the ladies could actually be in charge and then could decide that the men, maybe the man should not work if they so wish, as in those ladies. If they want that, okay, the man should not work, then so shall it be. Are there some, maybe some areas or societies that actually promote that?
Hello,
Do we
sir.
have some societies that promote that?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Hello?
Go ahead and share with us.
Okay, like the what will I call them?
Your own views on that.
Hello? Am I getting?
Yeah, Japhet.
Yes. There's this group of people in Plateau State.
Hello, Japhet.
Yes, sir. I can hear you, sir. Hello, sir. My goodness, what is happening? Hello? My goodness.
Japhet, you can hear you.
Okay.
It's like his own network is not okay. I think he went out.
There's these people in Plateau State. The farming activity are basically carried out, the tilling, the weeding, basically farming activities. That is labor is being undertaken by women. The women does the working. They could farm, gather the resources, and present to their husband. That is the only thing that makes them worthy wife or wife to a husband. So there's some society that promotes this thing. I think these people, they call them the Angas. When you go around that region, I went there, I saw men were drinking continually. They would wake up straight and go to drinking
That's
joints. And then
Biron people, actually.
Ibirum, okay, yeah. The men goes to
It's
drink,
not.
and then the wife goes to the farm. So there are some certain, it is agreed at this society that the wives, the men are free of labor, while the women undertake what the men in other society are supposed to do. That is my knowledge and point of view.
Are you sure our lecturer is connected? I think he's not.
I think he was locked out.
So you just have to hold on when he comes up.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Yes.
Hello. Please, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sorry. I was having some network challenges.
It's all right, sir.
Yes, but I'm back. Yes, I'm fully back.
It's all right.
Yes. Yeah, thank you. So, Javed, you were about making a point.
Yes, I say with much enlightenment, there are still societies that promote that men, the bulk of the work can be done or is still done by women. Women participate in the upkeep, the labor that earns them resources to take care of the family more or totally, like the Birom people in Plateau State. Early in the morning, their men will be going to the drinking joint to drink while their wives go on farming and hunting and other activities to cater to earn a living that will cater for the family. So that is an example of a society that still promotes that I can present.
Okay, but then my own question was, to some extent, it may be common in some areas to say that some men will decide that, for instance, maybe the wives should not work, should better stay at home to take care of the home. Now, my own question was, if at all there was any culture somewhere that the woman could actually decide, have that right, at least in that particular culture, for them to either agree to it that the husband should be engaged in any government work or not. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. So that was the angle from which I was coming from.
I think,
do we have any particular place, tribe or so that actually promote that?
I think there's none. Even in an African country where women marry men, it's not done like this. When they marry you equally be engaged in working for the family, to earn a living for the family. You're not isolated from working. So I believe there's none. For now, I've not heard of any society or community that promotes that basically, except for individual reason or people.
Okay. Yeah. It's okay. Yeah, so as much as possible for gender-based violence to be avoided, most of these issues have to actually be looked into. To say that the man and the lady, all of them actually have equal rights. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh. Okay, so we also discussed about sexual violence. And we said that sexual violence could actually occur, not just between adults and then minors. Sexual violence could actually occur even among adults. Because sexual violence could actually occur when there is non-consensual sex.
I think the
Yes.
slide we just left, it was only two concepts that were discussed there. The other two were left out.
Only what?
I think we discussed on the issue of no income forced stay at home was not discussed, and then destroying the ability to work. On this slide, we discussed just the other two. So,
Okay, no. We actually discussed the stay-at-home issue. That was when I was asking you whether there was any culture at all.
It's okay. It's okay. It's all
yeah,
right.
that promotes maybe the men staying back at home, not working.
Yes, I understand.
So, is there any question?
No.
Okay. So let's proceed. So we're actually looking at the different forms where we said there is a physical violence or physical form of gender-based violence, the psychological, socioeconomic, and all of that. And so, coming to look at it, is it possible to actually do away with most of these gender-based violence, these different forms of gender-based violence? Are there ways that it can actually be curtailed and put under check? Are there ways it can be put under check? Huh? Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So are there ways that this could be put, the different forms of gender-based violence could actually be put under check? Okay, are there ways that these different forms of gender-based violence could actually be curtailed?
There are minimal ways.
Okay.
I think advocacy is one of the ways of enlightening and then making advocacy can help in a very large extent. That when people become some persons entirely are not aware of their right. Some are aware, but they feel that there's no defense anywhere that can, when violated, they can take it off. So when advocacy comes up, it enlightens the people that when your right or it's more of right now is impeded, you can take it up. So when this issue comes up, the issue of taking up a violation of gender-based violence comes up, then the act for the menace will be curtailed. I think that is one of the means, the ways I think possibly can help reduce or eradicate this menace.
Okay. Okay, so let's look at issues of sexual violence. Now I ask you, can sexual violence occur among adults, or it can just occur between maybe adults and a minor? Did you get that question?
Can occur between both.
Yeah, Chidima.
Can occur between both of them.
Okay, both. Yes, it can
Yes,
actually.
sir.
Okay. Now, if it is if all of them are adults, how is sexual violence setting there among them?
Yes, I think any unwarranted or uncompromised sexual advances are sexual harassment. Because even when it is consented, the way and manner it is pushed to could be harassment. Yes, men, when we speak about sexual gender-based violence related to sexual harassment, we are speaking about both gender.
Okay.
There are areas where you penetrate with unauthorized, you have harassed that person. There are various ways. For the purpose of this lecture, I'll say this. When for the masculine, there are areas, there are sexual aspects that are not supposed to be gone in if not authorized. Recently, we saw a leaked video in Benue State. I'm not mentioning the name of the person, but you see where a male organ was being leaked.
Okay.
It's harassment. Yes. So I perceive that if it is not authorized, that man is harassed because there is nowhere that organ is supposed to be used sexually. So from the feminine, it is equally vice versa. They are where you consciously, if the person is willing to go into it, but they are where you place it unauthorized is harassment. That's my view.
Wait. Are you there?
Yes, sir. We're here.
Sorry, unfortunately, I'm having, I don't know, I'm having some network issues today. Okay, but yeah, I'm back. My network is just fluctuating today. Yeah, please. Is this Samson? I think you were trying to make a point. Japhet?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think you were trying to make a point.
Yes, sir. Okay, I thought you
please.
I hope you got what I was saying.
Okay, you actually landed.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, you know, I asked you if it was actually possible for, if it was actually possible for both adults to experience a form of gender-based violence sexually.
Yes.
That was actually, that was actually my question.
Yes, that is the question. That is what I responded to.
Okay, and what was your response? Sorry, because I was cut off at a point.
My response was, even as adults,
yes,
this crave for sexual engagement is sorted. You consent each other. If it is appealing or agreed upon, it's okay. But when you use your might, force, then you have violated you have caused sexual harassment or violation to your opponent or the opposite gender. It could be both to the feminine and masculine. So I was given an instance that even if it is the permission is sorted and agreed upon, you consented to go into it. There are points that you don't go beyond. If you go, you have violated. You have harassed that person sexually. That is what I was saying.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, so among adults, it's still possible to have a case of sexual harassment, or it's still possible for cases of gender-based violence to occur. Because as far as such kind of relationship, the other party does not give his or her own consent, it becomes a case of sexual violence, sexual abuse. Do you understand?
Yes.
Yes, so it may not just be minor. Yes, the minor can be abused sexually, or a case of gender-based violence who occur sexually on minors, but then among adults too, it can also occur. Then we look at a case of marital rape. Marital rape, which is still under sexual violence. Is it possible to actually have cases of marital rape among couples that are married? Is it possible for one to actually experience some form of rape being married?
Yes, sir. It's possible.
Yeah, please. Yeah, something. Go ahead.
As I was saying earlier,
yes,
this issue of sexual engagement is not a thing that you crave. You have an emotion, and then your partner lacks that crave for it. If you both have the crave for it, it is done peacefully. But when you have the crave and your partner lacks that, then you need to apply force. And when force is applied, this is not just on a violation, but forcefully done. It could be in regards to rape, because in such instance, like in cases of rape, they will carry out examination to see whether actually rape actually occur. When it's taken to police, they will take it up and make some medical examination. So applying force could cause injuries that could cause injuries. So that is my view, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. But let me ask you, we're talking about marital rape here. So yes. Is it possible for marital rape to actually take place just against the woman just against the woman, or it can actually take place. Please, are we together?
Ati, mute your mic.
Yes.
Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, is it possible for cases of maybe marital rape to occur just on the lady or the woman, or it can also occur on the man?
It can occur on both.
It can occur on both. Eh?
Yes, sir. It can occur on both.
Yeah, because you know the reason why I'm asking this question is that we feel that it is only ladies also that can be harassed. It is only ladies that can be raped and all of that. So in most cases, we don't have this understanding that men can be harassed sexually. There could be some form of maybe rape also that could occur on the man and all of that. And that is why I had to ask that question. So it is possible that this marital rape can also occur on the man. I give you an instance where maybe the wife, the lady here seems to maybe seems to be in charge. She's the one that is working. She's the one that is actually earning some money and all of that, running the home and all, taking care of the bills of the family and all of that. And so to some extent, the man tends to be at some maybe disadvantaged position. And so in different ways, it is possible for the lady at that point to now met out some maybe violence on the man, even in marital settings. Do you understand? Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, and so at that point, it is possible to actually for the man to actually experience gender-based violence, or a case of gender-based violence being meted out on the man. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Then we have genital mutilation. Genital mutilation. What do you understand by genital mutilation?
Hello, sir.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what do you understand by genital mutilation? Genital mutilation.
Okay, genital mutilation. This operation is basically, a most recognized situation is basically to the feminine gender. That is the removal of female organ, female reproductive. Okay, female organ.
Okay.
Not entirely the castration of
yes, an alteration of the female organ, genital organ.
Yes.
Okay, yes. So can we look at it as being kind of a gender-based violence?
Yes, sir.
Okay, how do you feel is actually
from experience,
a kind of a gender-based violence?
Yes. From the information gathered.
Yes.
You have when they're born normal. When the genital organ is there, the woman still functions normal as a woman. But when mutilated, I think it has caused. It will not cause any malfunction to them as such, but it I don't know how to place this, but there's something I gathered from gist and other things, but I don't know how to place it here for the consumption of this class. Yeah.
Okay, at least you have an idea of what we are talking about here.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, so Chidima, yes, you are raising your hand. Yes.
Okay, hello. Can you
Yes.
hear me, sir?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. I wanted to talk about the female genital mutilation and all. The truth is, it is not just only a gender thing. It is an abuse to the lady, because if she is being caught, what is the need or what is the gain? They say it's a means of preserving the woman from being promiscuous and all of that, but that is not the truth. It is a forceful action, and which is against the female foe, because the men are not mutilated, they are not castrated. So why would it be just the women that are being preserved from being promiscuous and men not promiscuous? So I think it is not really just the gender, but it's the gender bias thing. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Ogbu, you want to say something? Yeah, Ogbu, you want to say something? Hello, Ogbu, you want to say something?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
She said men are not being castrated. So I want to ask her, as in how are men not being castrated?
Okay, one of the things I said when I began is, this is more like a bias to the women, because we live in a patriarchal society where everything revolves around the men, around this. You want to apply for a visa, you have to seek the consent of your husband as a married woman. You want to do this, your husband, you want to buy land, you want to rent an apartment, some landlords tell you to bring your husband, right? Now, from the angle I'm coming from is this: why are the men not being preserved from being promiscuous? Why are the women? Because the idea of female genital mutilation is a means of preserving the womanhood and then stopping the woman from being promiscuous. So that is it. If the women can be mutilated, why can't the men be castrated too, so that they can preserve manhood? That's what I'm saying.
I think this opinion that you're coming up with is from the place you come from, or where you gathered it. For other reasons, they say is to enhance sexual urge. When you're normal, you're not sexually aroused at all times. So, to other society, genital mutilation is to enhance sexual urge. So, in such instance, what would you place it to be? Is it? I think the basic thing here is where you say it's done without the conscience, without the consent of that woman, because at first this thing is done at their very tender age. They have no knowledge of what that thing is all about. So it is a violation of their is a violation against that gender. It's not for you to say they do that so as they will not be promiscuous. Maybe it holds from where you gathered it, but in other way around, if you go, it has another.
All your views. Are you listening?
Yes, sir.
Are you listening?
Yes, sir.
Your views. The fact is that yes, genital mutilation is actually a form of abuse, gender-based abuse on the female folks, or on the ladies, or on the girl child. Because one, you don't even seek the consent of the girl child for her genital part to be mutilated. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Do they give their consent over that?
Not at all.
They don't give their consent. And you see, when we're talking about sexual abuse, we're saying that even adults will be abused sexually, because wherever the other party does not actually give his or her own consent, it becomes a clear case of abuse. Oh, you are still raising your hand. You want to say something? Okay. Yeah, so what we're saying is that for that to occur, Japhet, you want to say something?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please do. Go ahead.
The angle we are going that it is done without the consent of a gay child. I think in some culture, to any age you are, if that is not, the genital mutilation is not done, just like circumcision is upheld in some certain culture, at any age it can be done to you. Willingly, women of that age, at adult age, submit themselves for this genital mutilation. It is the awareness or the advocacy that have been held, or the awareness campaign that have been thrown to a wide range that have started preventing this. I could remember at a certain age, it is even at adolescent age, like that one that one of my classmates was trying to make reference to. When a woman comes of a certain sexual age, they will do that in the name that they are preventing her to be promiscuous. Is just meant for who is dedicated to be her husband. So in some circumstance or instance, it's done with their consent. That is the contribution I have.
Okay, but what we are saying is that it is actually a very harmful cultural practice which should not actually be meted on the gay child, because it amounts to gender-based violence. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. I understand.
Yeah, so any other contribution on that? Any other contribution? Okay, so we have a case of unwanted sexual behavior. Unwanted sexual what? Behavior. Have you seen what the the picture there. Are you
Yes,
there?
sir. Yes, sir.
So can you see that picture?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so what does that picture tells you? When you're talking about unwanted sexual behavior, as harassment.
Unlawful. Yeah, unlawful. Unlawful. Let me tag it unlawful. Unlawful touching. Body contact.
Yes.
Touching of sensitive parts of the body.
Okay. Well, it depends. Okay, it depends on what you mean by. Yeah, Chidima, you want to say something?
Yes, I want to say something in this regard.
Okay, please go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Looking at the picture, we see unwanted sexual behavior, harassment.
Yeah.
Every part of the human body is private. There is no one that is more private than the other. So even if someone touches your hand, it is private, and as such, the person is harassing you because you did not give the person your consent. It is not until somebody touches the places we know as being private in our mind that it becomes harassment. Even with words too, you're being harassed. Sometimes someone will talk to you very demeaning, or maybe in a sexual context. It is an harassment because you didn't give your consent. You're not in any, I don't know how to put it, but all I'm trying to say is there is no part that is more private than the other. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, that is very, very correct and true. You see, when you say that, from this picture now, it depicts one touching the lady in a private maybe part or so. No, just as Chidima mentioned, every part of one's body is private. Do you understand?
Yes.
Yes, it's private to that person. And as such, for you to have any contact, anything to do with any part of the person's body, at least the person should give some consent to it. And it becomes so bad that there are some persons that have this habit of hugging, of unwarranted hugging. Do you understand?
Yes.
There are some persons that, but once they see you, because they have known you, maybe they have not seen you for some time and all of that, then they begin to hug you and all of that. And some persons actually become embarrassed with that kind of behavior and then harassed, if it is maybe across gender also. Do you understand? So by the time you're touching somebody, even if it is the person's head, it's harassment without the person's consent. The person may not actually be happy with that. The person may not actually be comfortable with that with that touching. So it becomes harassment. Do you understand? It becomes harassment. So harassment to one's self-body, it could be any part at all. The most important thing is that it should be based on one's consent and maybe mutual consent. Both persons should actually be in agreement over that, or else it becomes a form of harassment, which would lead to gender-based violence. Is that clear?
Yes,
then
sir.
We have forced abortion, forced pregnancies, which could lead to STDs and all of that. So how does this actually contribute to gender-based violence, forced abortion, forced pregnancy, STDs.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
This is Joseph, sir.
Yes, Joseph, yes.
Well, for this last stage, just as it is stated here, first. In the first place, the person is not agree doing that, going for that abortion. Or from the onset, maybe the partner did not give consent. Maybe the person said, no, this is not the right time. But as a man, you force the person. It is not, the person did not give the consent. And at the end of the day, through that forced abortion, it can lead to death. It's not only sexually transmitted disease, it can lead to the death of that person. At the process of doing that abortion, a lot of things can go wrong, maybe loss of womb and all that, which will affect the person at the long run. So this is the way that it can be a gender-based violence. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, anybody wants to say something else on that? Okay, if you look at that, we have cases, okay, we are talking of abortions and then maybe unwanted pregnancies and then STDs. For the fact that one has the economic muscle, right? For the fact that one has economic muscle, it now decides that, okay, even when the other party, just as what Joseph was saying, even when this lady is actually against having an unprotected sex, the man feels that, okay, if it is the money, I can pay you. There are cases where we have seen scenarios where some persons will say that, oh, that listen, for ladies, that okay, if you want to have any sexual affair with me as a lady without maybe without using protection, this is how much you pay, and then with protection, this is how much you pay. Have you heard of things like that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. But there are still cases where, because the man in this case has the economic wherewithal to actually pay for that, and so the lady is even against having unprotected sex. But because the man can actually have his way, since he has the money also, he now insists on having maybe unprotected sex with this lady. And at the end of the day, maybe pregnancy has set in. Pregnancy has set in. And then the man in this case is not ready to take responsibility and now insists, goes ahead to insist on the lady that an abortion should be carried out. Is a grave form of abuse, gender-based violence. Do you understand?
Yes,
Do you
sir.
understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And in the course of that, there could be cases of maybe sexually transmitted diseases that could also set in. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so these are actually issues that actually needs to be looked into. Yeah, I think we may stop our class here for today, and then we pick it up from there tomorrow, right?
Okay, sir.
Yeah, but before we go, if you have any question on all we have said so far, please, you are free to ask. If you have further maybe contributions, the floor is open for you to go ahead, please.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, Joseph, you want to say something?
Yes. There was a time you talk about this forced stay at home. And
Yes.
you were asking whether there's any community, any society that is still practicing that. Though my network was not okay,
sorry,
I wanted to.
No, sorry, Joseph, sorry, Joseph. Before you proceed, I was actually specific. I gave instances where the man, maybe in the home among couples, married couples, the man and the wife, the man will decide that the wife should not work, should be a complete housewife, to be looking after the home, while him as the man works. I was saying we have always seen so many of those cases in some places. But then I was asking you whether there are some settings, societies where maybe the women are actually maybe in charge to the point they can.
I'm not getting you again, sir.
It should be his network, I guess.
Tell the men.
Okay.
That did you get?
I didn't get it to the end, but the aspect I wanted to talk about is based on the individual.
Hello, Joseph.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, so did you get my explanation on that?
I didn't get it to the end, but where I wanted to chip in is my own aspect is based on the individuals. There are individuals in the societies that are still practicing that. I want to give an example. I traveled from Makurdi to Abuja to visit a maternal cousin. And this is someone that I went to school, they has a degree certificate. So when I got there, I discovered that the woman doesn't work. I tried to monitor the environment and I asked her, why is it that you are staying at home every day, morning till night? And she said, according to her husband, that she should stay at home and take care of home while the husband will work. The husband work as whether a chief editor in the police in Jos and usually visit them during the week. So you see, the woman has the qualification to work or stay at home, and this affects her in one way or the other. There are some things that she wants to do. Sometimes the man is not there immediately to provide that. So it affects. So some individuals are still promoting this, that yes, the salary I'm earning is enough to take care of the family. You don't need to go and stress yourself and all that. And in that case, the woman will just feel relaxed.
Okay. Yes. Joseph, such scenarios are a bit common. So my question specifically was that Is it actually possible for a man to actually get that kind of a command or order from the woman? Is it possible? Or is just a one-way thing that will just be directed only to women? You have actually given the instance of man to the woman. So is it possible to have this kind of violence from the woman or from the lady to the man? Is it possible?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
The case of that is rare.
So are we saying that it's possible such is not in existence or such can't happen somewhere